Welcome to Dynasty the Podcast Show. I'm your host, Ira Bush, and it's the show. It's today is pretty much a normal day. We're gonna talk about everything from we talk every day is something slightly different and nothing's never the same, but we're gonna talk about a lot of politics today. They had they still was from what for far as what I was you know up to now, they were still voting on the bill that the person in command is expecting on his desk by Friday. He said so. He wants the bill to get passed. There's still a lot of debate, and there's still a lot of naysayers that do not want that bill to be passed. There's a lot of cuts. There's a lot of things to do with people's, I would say, Medicaid, Medicare. A lot of things having to do with education. That bill has a lot of ties to billionaires trying to stay in, try to keep poor people poor and rich people, wealthy people rich. So, it's not really a bill to share wealth. It's not really a bill to, how you say it, like to help all the people. Now, also, we had, I think it was yesterday or the day before, our governor of Florida, he he had a big conference talking about the budgets and how much we've been spending. Now, I'm not gonna get too in detail. We also, that's what's coming as far as politics. Today I'm also gonna go into this breaking down a few more teams in the Southeast Conference of the NBA. I did get to watch the WNBA last night and I checked the scores. And it's not gonna be it's gonna be I say, like, it's not gonna be a long. I'm not trying to make this a long show, but I will make it something that is worth the watch. Far as sports, I had basketball practice. Community. I had basketball practice. It went well. We did 3-on-3 sessions, and we had a 5-on-5 scrimmage. We did a lot of shooting yesterday. I basically did just, a few, it wasn't a hand drill. It just was like practicing stamina of dribbling and keep your eye discipline up. It wasn't that too much. We got a game Wednesday against, this is the fight for second place in our four league, recreation league for my 9 through 12-year-old team, co-ed team in the community. So, we got that going. That's pretty much it. It was very, we actually did not win. It was. Let's say my scrimmage yesterday was actually very meaningful because, like, we didn't play. We didn't shoot well. Last game we played, we didn't shoot well. So in the 3-on-3 we shot well. In the pre-practice we did a lot of shooting. We shot well, but it was like a very like good game because we was down 6-2. We came down, we scored a bucket, and I always tell my kids, like, we hold them under 10 points, you got a chance if you score 11. So that's how much we scored the first game. So, we only played 2 games. So, my average, I want them to score at least 11 or more. So I made that clear to them yesterday. So in the practice, we only let them score 10. So I felt like, if we had a real game, probably was something. But long story short, we got down 6. It was 6-8. Then they let them score again. No, let me correct that. It was it was 4-6, and we let them score again. It was 8. Then we scored again. It was 6. So the coach was like, let's wrap it up because we played we went all the way to the end of our time for the gym. So it's 6-8, and I was like, last possession, we gotta hit a 3. I told them to shoot the 3 so for them to get the win for the practice. And I mind you, like, I gave it to my point guard. My best shooter. He's not as mobile. He's not as mobile as everybody else, but he's a really good shooter. So I'm like, man, get your shot. He's up there getting hemmed up. So I told my point guard, so he gets to his corner shot, and then he shoots it, and then he's like, it was very close to it going in. So I just like that in game type of vibe we had yesterday. Besides us not winning the scrimmage, but we did do well in 3-on-3. We got a lot of good work for that. And it was a really good practice yesterday overall, even though we didn't win the scrimmage. But we lost 8-6. We was trying to get the win at the end, but we got to just get more of those in game type of situations. We got 3 more. This tomorrow will be our third regular season game. Then we got 3 more regular season games in the playoff tournament style for the championship. Is the last week of for our basketball. So it's been good. It's been a lot of fun on that. Now getting right to it. I'm gonna play y'all the budget for Florida. I know I try to break it down. I don't really have much to say about I told y'all I mentioned down in Broward School Board, they already done canceled the rest of the session. They out for the summer. They canceled their last meeting. I guess they was done talking, making up stuff and making them feel like they did something and they wouldn't come to the table correctly. So I don't have to go down there no time soon, at least till August. Um, that's it for them. Palm Beach County, I'm still in this area. I'm still, I'm observing how things are finna get, I'm actually active already in the community. So I'm finna observe how this, week or two finna play out. Well, this month of July, put it like that. August they go back to school. So we're gonna observe, we're gonna do a little bit more research without speaking on it. I'm gonna get a little bit more detailed over here. I'm gonna still keep it over there with the, like I said, when I went to that church, I did not see the mayor. When I called the mayor's office in Broward, he didn't answer the phone. So, I got somebody on the phone over here in Palm Beach. As far as the mayor's office, I think I still could get in touch with her. So, I don't, I got other concerns. It's about the same as over there in Broward. I don't know if they was testing me as a father, as an uncle, and as a person of that protects, whether they believe it or not. I really ain't really been. I have not been aggressive. I put a lot of time into the community. I don't feel like I should have been disrespected at any point, either county, because I've helped all kind of kids from both sides, both areas. So that disrespect that they did towards me, it was very unwarranted. And I speak on it all the time, but that's why I'm checking them out. I'm checking them, whether it's the school board, whether it's the mayor's office. I've called both. I have not got a good response out of Broward, which was expected. There's a lot of frauds and crooks over there, but we gonna actually after July's over, if the results that I'm if they ain't getting nobody talking correctly, if I don't see real drastic change, and the upcoming year and season, we finna do something bigger right right at August 1st. It's gonna start right there. It's gonna be something big. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna let it happen. Y'all gonna see it right in front of your eyes. So I'm not playing with these people. I'm not tap dancing for nobody in this country. I don't even, what I'm saying. It's been like this since I was younger. If you ever been around me when I was younger, when I was a child, when I was in kindergarten, pre-K, I ain't never. If you disrespect my anything that I come from, I won't. I don't accept that at all. So everything will be properly done though. So I give everybody a lot of chances to come towards me and to speak correctly and to have a real let's say to give you a real chance to speak your piece if you felt like I disrespect you, which most of the time people are just intimidated. Most people are weak, cowards. They don't have the gall to step in front of you and speak with any strength. So or even do anything worth standing on. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about the whole situation being in this county. I look at the state of Florida. I got a lot of family here, so I don't have to boast about nothing being strong or having a footprint or having a whatever they call it clout nowadays. That's been spoken on all the time already. But we got a lot of frauds, a lot of crooked old people getting paid off to work for the worst, the scummiest of scum. So it is what it is. Now, going right into it, we're gonna talk about I'm just let y'all dissect. I'm gonna let y'all listen to the first eight. I don't even want to. This tap dancing clown gonna say what he had to say for it. I'm gonna let y'all listen to the first. He doesn't speak. When somebody is literally like a copycat of a somebody they like their weakness of arrogancy is gonna. You don't have to look. I'm watching it. Y'all can hear it. What I'm saying? You can hear it. He's all like shaking and moving. I can't explain. You gotta kind of watch it. I want y'all to watch the yesterday's press conference or whatever. Yeah, it was a press conference down in Florida. We in Florida. This is our governor. He doesn't have much to say. He gotta copy something. He gotta bite off something. So his originality is not. It's not the perfume of I'm trying to copycat somebody is reeks. So I want y'all to listen to the first 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how much I can hear, because I already listened to the first. I might watch this, but it's a bunch of blah blah blah. He started talking about. Let me tell you, okay, this guy literally is trying to run for presidency. He's going to do someone's dirty work because our president has definitely been, he's not allowed in New York really. So the mayor, it's a bit. I don't know how somebody could be the president and not allowed in one of the most, I would call it famous states that we have. It's not big. It's a lot of people there. It's a lot of business going on there. Especially back in the days, especially when the country was formed. It was a pot where everybody came to do business. Whether it was no slavery, it was supposedly no slavery. That don't mean people was treated properly, but you get what I'm saying. It was the North and the South. The North, it was New York, so it was a mixture of everybody being able to move around, being able to make their way. Not saying there wasn't prejudice and racism and people getting hung from trees in these small little towns, and the same type of energy, still when it was formed. But that's why people still go there to this day and say that it was never a slave state. So he's dissing New York. He's talking about how many numbers comparison. Like, we don't got 40 other states. It's his business to go diss. It's your business to make Florida look like the strongest state, which he did speak. But you don't have to go low to make yourself shine. I don't get that about the energy is weird. That is weirdo energy. You not gonna win the presidency trying to copy the person that's in the chair. That man got ties to different type of reasons why he's the president. That's all I could tell him. So he's trying to be in his cabinet a different way. But this man has done a lot of it ain't easy. The way he got into office was he was popular in other ways. He has ties to like family ties and reasons why he had to be in the seat. And it's what I'm saying. It might look like it really to me. You can't really take. I don't know how to explain it. I can't explain it. But you got to kind of be in the United States. I definitely know what I want to do overall. I'm I'm figuring out as I go. I don't have all the answers. They won't give me all the answers. I have to go and search and find and ask and read and write and study for answers. Some people are giving the answers at the top, and so they can stay there at the top. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to people. So, I'm not saying I'm not coming from anything. I'm just saying I don't get the answers like these people do. It's a lot of lying and conniving to get to these places that these people are at. So let's listen to what our governor, I'm saying our because I'm a U.S. citizen of Florida. So we're going to listen to what he said. what he has to say, what he had said yesterday about the Florida budget and the fiscal year. I still want my income tax check from whatever year that y'all ain't giving to me. Y'all gave them to some random person. I'm gonna make you stand on y'all talking about all this stuff in his first 10 minutes too. Okay, see, they gonna come with another excuse. Now, I like the. I'm gonna just end it on that because I watched it once and then like I watched it and I was like, well, I don't really need to hear you talk that much. And when you start double talking, but I want the first what else? I stopped at 6 minutes of his first of his hour speech. They start double talking. I want them to stand on what they said. I want them to stand on. I want him to stand on all the information he gave out because he went to this and this state, comparing this state. Then he went to talking about bonds. Make sure you pay everybody back now. Make sure you correctly giving the right people their money back now. Make sure you properly doing everything by the book because you out here talking real big right now. So you got to do everything precisely. People been stealing and fraudulently doing things for a very long time. You say you cutting debt, make sure you go pay the people that you stole from off the rip, off top. That's what we need to be done. All right. So and make what I'm saying, everything will be situated if you do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying out loud in public. You know what I'm saying? Get everything correctly done. All right. So we're gonna move on from him. when the Where the Senate votes currently stands for Trump bill. That was the title of the CNN reported 3 hours ago about the mega marathon. I don't know. They're trying to sell something. Both sides, whether it's Democrat, Republican, they need the press. They need, I don't know what they need. I think they need you know, I don't know. The bill is out there for people to break down. There's a lot going on in it. It's a lot of hidden agendas in that bill. I don't think that type of bill needed to be signed or passed through because it's not enough time for us to really break it down. They did this thing trying to push it all the way through, but it got a lot. I think got a lot of attention that they did not warrant. They thought it would just be, when he's calling it a big beautiful bill, he just really wanted people to pass it off as a beautiful bill, but it was not. It was the complete opposite. There was a lot of that slavery. Oh, it was like that slavery talk in that bill. So it was pushing us back. Then I think they just the birthright ruling. He's trying to the authority of him is to like basically say there's no birthright. Whoever he want kicked out, whoever he want to deem less than a human being, whoever want to deem an immigrant, whoever he want is what he see. You know what I'm saying? So he trying to control everything, every aspect of the freedom of country, your freedom of speech, freedom of being able to do whatever you want, freedom, the freedom of being who you want, putting the time in to become exactly who you chose to be. So he got a lot of that energy going on right now. So it's gonna mostly affect black and brown people, African descended people. Not gonna affect the people that look like him or people who have the wealth that he has or whatever he's kind of based it off of. And that's pretty much how it's gonna go. Um I don't really have. I'm gonna play this, then I'm gonna let somebody Ralph Warmack claim, I'm gonna let him speak and give his opinion on it. I'm gonna let him speak on the bill. I'm finna listen to I'm gonna show y'all what I've been listening to this morning. The update. All right. That's pretty much the update. I don't have to listen to no more. Gonna give my opinion. I don't want to hear nothing from even though he's. I don't even understand that. Like, what kind of wool over the eyes kind of scheme and scam is this? This man got a whole Trump was right about everything hat on, and now he's like going to get some. This is like good cop, bad cop. What is like what kind of troll? Like, what kind of joke is this? Like, who put like just because he's like, I don't know. Neither one of them are very experienced in politics. Both are experienced as businessmen. So this is a good way to generate publicity, to generate a straw man story about how y'all not even working together, but y'all probably know each other since y'all were little kids. And y'all already been doing business over the last 20, 30 years, just being billionaires. This doesn't make any sense to me why y'all think people who, especially somebody like me, I don't believe nothing these people say. Nothing. Like, everything is formed off them getting more money, more things for their businesses. This is not to help the people. This is not help the people with less. This is not to help the people that have stolen from. This is not to help when we think back when they was over there in South Africa trying to start an internal war and they over here running around talking about it was a what they call it a genocide. What kind of like trickeration of words is that? So I'm like, that was like month and a half ago, where they was talking about they was getting genocide over there in South Africa. Then they over here starting Iran Israel war. Then I see this morning where our person chiefs or commander of our state of our country is over here talking for to shake hands, have a meeting Friday with the the whatever they call him, the president of Israel. He's having a meeting with him. He's flying down here with his group of people. So he got all his hands in all these pots. He's picking sides. He's not being really a peacemaker. He's being a antagonist, degenerate. He's putting a lot of poison out there. A lot of hate energy out there. So I don't know what to tell everybody. This is what I see from what they're reporting. I don't. He's last week he's reporting that he's mad at Israel and Iran. That he can't. He's up here siding with Israel again. I guess they finna patch it up. I don't know. I guess, and then there was a report that Iran has another base and all this that they're going to do the nuclear, get the weaponry up again. I don't know. It's a lot of going on right now. This stuff coming out today. So we're gonna let that speak on. Then we're finna go. That's what's being said. More information has to come out. More research has to be done by myself, the information that comes out, and I can speak more on it. That's what I was given this morning. Now, from what I'm reading and listening to, now let's listen to what Mr. Warmark talks about on this bill that he was talking about yesterday. Like I said, I don't want to hear nothing about Elon Musk. I ain't no diss to him. Hey, reach out, man. I need some sponsors. On Twitter, on YouTube. I need to get my money up for my podcast show when I launch it back on Spotify. I'm trying to get with you on that. I don't want to hear you talk about no straw man story with the president. Stick to what you did to get your money. Don't listen. Don't get too involved in all that. We don't want you to be tap dancing too much over there. You look like you talking out the side of your neck this way and that way, and they ain't looking too good for you in the grand scheme of things. And to keep your we the people interest. All right. I don't think you trying to be the president. So they over there already done tried to start stuff over there with your people over there in South Africa. Even though I know you probably I don't know what kind of double way you playing, but okay. No AI, we ain't going that way. No artificial intelligence now. Excuse me. I mispronounced this guy's name. His name is Ralph Warnock. Warnock. Not Warmark, Warnock. I said it wrong first. Ralph Warnock. That's what it looks like from here. I don't know. I get new representatives. They flash my page and I try to get, I'll find I actually got a lot of stuff on my Instagram, but I do a lot of I do my Instagram live and they post a lot of stuff daily and I got information like that as well. So I'm actually happy that I've been following people that I get introduced via. When I listen to more of this stuff, they give me more people that I need to be listening to. So I get a lot of information like that. Like I said, I'm not studying all these states, but I do study my cities. I have been tuning in to the places that I'm living in, and it ain't for fake. It definitely ain't for fake. I definitely know enough faces and seen enough of these people running around, playing around already. You know what I'm saying? It ain't never been. It's very high level when it comes to being in the areas that I live in and the state that I stay in. It ain't fake. So I ain't capping on over here in Florida. I don't stepped out a few times, but it's gonna get bigger and it's gonna get better. If they, whether I gotta go up here and be in this suit like this man or these people, they'll get there eventually because it definitely ain't never been lack of ability. So, it's all about time. So yeah, I gotta y'all want me to go over here and help the youth, or y'all want me to go over here and slap some of these dumb judges and law firms and we go. I don't really, whatever, whichever way it gotta be. I really enjoy sports and coaching and laughing and bringing stuff together and making it, have a good time, when it with family and community. But we gotta get this way a little bit. We're gonna have to get this way. It's coming towards that way more. They keep allowing these um non-intelligent people to run and control things. So we gotta figure some stuff out at the top. Now let's continue. Sorry for messing up in the. Mm. Mhm. All right, there you have it. Same people are, people that look just like me and you. If you're watching or listening, we have the same concerns. When they start cutting stuff, they want people to start being ignorant, and they wanna basically smear campaign, you know, people of African descent that they enslaved and brought to this country because we are in these seats and tables talking into them with authority. So when they see more and more of these people, types of people speaking and talking with authority, they have an issue. And the issue is they want to take resources, they want to take money, they want to do it from the top. They want to continue to, the more people who don't have and they keep speaking up and they keep coming with their credentials and they don't want to even have it available. You know what I'm saying? They want to cut all things. They want people to be distracted by a lot of their, like I said, like I might not be in a bad situation, or somebody next to me might not be in a bad situation, but they have 5 to 10 family members that are in a bad situation, and they still trying to make it hard for our family to eat and gain and to which. And I'm not even telling y'all. I don't feel like I'm I'm not saying this in an arrogant way. I'm not gonna quit on myself, but I'm definitely been getting. I've got tried so many times. You know what I'm saying? Broad daylight. These people are very arrogant, very white supremacist. Is very ignorant in Florida when it comes to white supremacy. I'm not sugarcoating that at all, but I definitely know how to handle them. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna make them look stupid. I'm definitely gonna tell them before you talk bad about me, make sure you go get clean. Make sure you stop snorting cocaine. Make sure you start doing meth. Make sure you start going out here, you know what I'm saying, selling your youth to, you know what I'm saying, I go in real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really on, I know what it is, you know what I'm saying? They could do all they want. You know what I'm saying? They can say all they want, but at the end of the day, they can't come to me like a man. They can't stand on nothing that they said. The ignorance that they stood on, that's what they gotta keep standing on. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna challenge you even more to even change. I mean, you can't. You already sold out. So, you know, the more and more you keep doing, the goofier and goofier you're gonna be. And you can't go to the realms that I'm gonna be able to get to. I don't care how much you delay, and I'm speaking for me personally. When you try to delay somebody like me and you sign up for you sell out for something for really. I always used, I don't know who I used to say this to the most, but I'd rather have a million strong, solid people, just solid people, because you have that $1 in their hand. A million strong, solid one people. You have that $1 in their hand, literally $1. You put it in the pot, it's $1 million. Boom, you got something going right there. You can make something happen in your community. But the people so me. People got this deteriorate, this I want to say gender, but the jealousy spirit, the hate spirit that they trying to spread. We don't need that right now. And I say that all the time. It's nothing to come together, but these people don't want everybody divided, everybody separate. We're in the United States. This is a country for people to come and start over and be free. But when I get down and start breaking down to you how it was built, they don't want to hear that neither. They want, like, he's living in the past. He's reminiscing on, he trying to, like, you know what I'm saying? They want to get mad about you speaking on how it was built up. You know what I'm saying? It was built on the backs of people looking like me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to remind y'all that y'all still owe, that y'all still ain't, and then the rules have changed so much. We done knocked so many barriers over. They still jealous. They still mad. They still envious. And so we gotta continue. They still trying to implement. Y'all gonna get the shit end of the stick every time. Y'all not as powerful. Y'all not powerful. Y'all not strong. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do weak. Y'all have weak things y'all do just to stay what y'all call strong. So y'all really not on a level of power that y'all think y'all are, especially in the wild world. Y'all did so many warmongering tactics. It's catching up to y'all by the day. So that's all I'm gonna say, man. I'm not gonna talk no more politics today. We're gonna end it on, I'll end it on a high note in sports. We're gonna talk. We're gonna pull it up real quick. talk some NBA real quick, break down a few teams. We're gonna break down a few teams. Let me pull it up real quick. Did I don't know if I talked about yesterday. I talked about the movie I went to see. I seen the I did see the F4. I told y'all I seen the F4 movie. I would make sure I broke it down. Oh, also today, make sure y'all check out Wimbledon. Wimbledon tennis matches. It started yesterday. So if you're not really paying attention, they got the early matches. I know some of y'all. I be supporting the women's side. I don't really care. I don't really know who the men's stars are. So I'm gonna support. I'm just making sure y'all know that it's Wimbledon right now. So make sure y'all support. We got a couple of U.S. Tennis players, that are pretty good that have chances to win. So y'all go check them out. It's the first. It's still today is the second day of the first round. So probably missed a match or two already. They start early in the morning. So yeah, let me get straight to it. Pull this up real quick. Teams. Okay, today we're going to talk about the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, and possibly the Washington Wizards. So, I'm actually, I'm in Florida, so I if I had to pick, especially growing up, I would have to pick that I was more of a Magic fan. But most definitely, the Heat I respect. They won. You know what I'm saying? They won several times since I've been alive, so I respect their the winning pedigree they have over there. There was a lot of legends that came over there, Hall of Famers. I recently actually the craziest thing. I be in Florida all the time. Don't be in Miami a lot, but I think it was about a month ago. I think it was my birthday weekend, or a few days after, a few days before, around that time. I was walking around, and I realized I was by the Heat Stadium, the Heat. I've been there before, but I was around the arena, and I was like, wow, I forgot that. I'm not like a super Dwayne Wade fan, but I respect Dwayne Wade. So I respect champions, I respect winners. So I'm going down. I'm just walking, taking a stroll until my train come to take me back up the way where I live. So I went there. I was like, wow, I should got a picture of the Dwayne Wade statue. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't. I wasn't. If you ever been to Miami, you be like, let me get off at this. If you got the trolley system, it takes you around the whole city. It's better. It's almost better. It might not be as cleanly as driving your car, but it's like, it gets really traffic can get really hectic in Miami area. And I remember me being a teenager when we used to ride down there sometimes. It was just funny. Like I was like, how we get back over here? How we end up way over here in the cut? You be way lost somewhere. You trying to get over here, and it say you right there on GPS, but it really got you way over here. That's how messed up the roads kind of was, and it's still, it's getting a little bit better. They built it up way better, but that was like what, over 10 years ago. So when I remember going down there when I was younger than my younger teenage, early 20s, just visiting. I did not stay down there. I was not hanging out there too tough. It wasn't that deep. I went a few times. Trust me, I know where, I know how to have fun and then enjoy the time that I have fun. I don't have to hang there for every weekend. Like, I had a good little run where we used to be up there though, for sure. And yeah, so I could nowadays it's like you be like, damn, I remember coming up here. It looked a little different, but it ain't that much different. So, I ain't. I'm from the other side of the Florida, so I don't I can't be over there like, yeah, I'm from Miami. No, I'm from Florida. I visited Miami before. So hey, I'm good over there. I'll be a couple teams over there as far as playing coaching football. You know what I'm saying? I had my run, enjoying the area. I still enjoy this area. I'm good. I'm good over here. So yeah. Now now let's go right into it. We're gonna talk about the Magic. Let's go into their draft and see what they how let's break down their draft and their trades and all that stuff. Now they acquired Noah Penda, Amari Williams. No, they traded Amari Williams and they traded Max Schugler. So Jason Richardson, the Michigan State guard, and Noah Penda were the two draft picks from this draft. I have not really, did a lot of ton of research or whatnot, but they got Paola Bachero and France Wagner and Jalen Struggs. They did a trade before the draft. KCP was on the team. They got traded, did the trade right before the draft. So I'm gonna pull that out real quick. We're gonna break it down real quick. So I go right to it. Yeah, they got a young team. I think when it comes down to when it comes down to it, like I said, I'm looking at they had a Desmond Baines trade. They still got Jonathan Isaac on the team. I like him. They got some talented. They barely made the playoffs last year. I think they Wendell Carter Jr. still on the team. They just added those new couple new pieces. I think they're trying to get their young group to formulate and give them put a lot of that on them. The two guys that they traded, I think they probably put they like the way they play. Probably some stretch. Got 3-point ability. I think they probably good on the defensive perimeter. That they, just remembering what I could very like. I did not watch a lot of NCAA yesterday, but I'm just thinking back them names. Just I catch it and it'd be like I can remember a little bit. It might be a game, a quarter. That's how much NCAA it was so blurred out. How much games, how spread out these games is for NCAA. I don't know why they don't promote it. It's good. I think it's because the people getting money already and it's already, it's not illegal no more. So they're not putting their energy into promoting nothing. They kind of being funny about that. So I don't really put too much mind. Then they definitely want a white face in NFL and NBA. Y'all, that's very glaringly what they trying to do. I'm sorry that y'all ain't as talented as the blacks or African descendant, but it is what it is. When they don't want to promote, they don't want to give us enough, they don't want to make us the face of everything because in the grand scheme of things, when they use propaganda, this is already known about. So I'm not saying nothing that's not I'm not being prejudiced when I say this. I'm really telling y'all just what it is. In the grand scheme of things, when the NFL and NBA are promoting their brand. They want a white face because there's European countries and there's other white race countries that they want to bring investors in. So if we don't have a white face on any of these leagues that's worth anything, they still go, and they gotta throw, high, you're gonna start making your black, your brown, your white, your African descendant athletes start tap dancing too hard for these people when they gotta go to these meetings, when they be in these interviews, when they gotta play these games overseas, when they gotta go over here for the Olympics in this country or that country. It's a lot going on. So I'm not saying it in a way of, I might speak politically. I'm talking how I'm talking, but I'm talking sports, so it's on a way lower level, but it's very important still once you go to the professional settings. It's all global, it's everywhere. So all these games are getting betted on, they get talked about. It's all kind of sports casting out there. So I'm just speaking on some real stuff now. No, that's it. This is the young team. They were at the bottom of the league. They ended up squeezing into the playoffs. I'm never going against a Florida team. I want them to be successful. I want them to have the most. They probably need to add a veteran. What they. Okay, let me just tell you, based off this roster that I'm looking at, and they got two guards, mostly guard type players. You know, they really need. You know, Desmond Bain was a good. They need a big man. They need a veteran. They need like somebody like Miles Turner to come over there and play for them. An athletic big, he could stretch, but he's definitely strong in the interior. Now, if I would make a trade like that. Now I don't know who they would give up. I would probably say they'll have to give up like Jonathan Isaac, a second round draft pick, and somebody like they have to give up Gary Harris or somebody like that. Wendell Carter's okay, center forward, but they need another real big man. That's just me looking at the roster. I would give up my new guys. I want to see what they got. But that's me putting something together for them. If they want somebody like, I don't know if he'll be that expensive. I think Gary Harris is a free agent or unrestricted one because he's still on the roster. Safe free agent. Or Corey Joseph's a free agent as well. So let me see how they roster looking. Let me go back. I got to pull it up. Wendell Carter, Tristan De Silva, Ethan Thompson, Jalen Suggs, Jeff Howard, Anthony Black. Yeah, so looking at their roster, I'll give up Jonathan Isaac in the second round pick, something like that for Miles Turner, some cash, depending on how much they're making. And they probably gonna want to guard one of them guards. I will not give up Jalen Suggs. I like Jalen Suggs, Ethan Thompson, Chet Howard, Anthony Black. They'll probably have to give up one of them guards with somebody like Jonathan Isaac. But I actually am a fan of Jonathan Isaac, but he might need to change places to get. He got a lot of playing time last year. I think he like where he's at. So I'm just saying Miles Turner will be a key, will be good, brings toughness. He can stretch the shoot the three, and he's definitely a rim protector. And he still could play 30. He's played 30 plus minutes most nights for Indiana. And I think the Indiana need guard help. They definitely use somebody like Jonathan Isaac, who's very good at defending as well, but he's more slender. He gained some weight since he's been in the league, but that would be somebody I think will help the locker room, will help Bacharo, and people like Wendell Carter. That'd be a good starting lineup with him, Bacharo. That'd be a big backcourt. I mean, front court correction. And then you got people like, Jalen Suggs and, get you a nice guard. Your style line will be good. You got enough pieces. Your new guys coming in. One of those guys can start. One of them can come off the bench. This is just me looking. That's a nice 6 to 7 man rotation with the players you already have. And that will help strengthen your veteran leadership. And I think Bobby Portis is still available if he haven't signed yet. Get somebody like him. I don't think he's as tough interior, but he's good at blocking shots. Guarding the post is a very difficult thing in this day and age in basketball. So him, when I was turning, he could switch. He moves his feet very well, and he's strong enough and big enough to really bang in the low post with any center in the league. So that's just my opinion. Now let's go to let's break down the Miami Heat. Miami Heat. They usually do a lot going on. I don't, they drafted some guy from over, I think he was over country. What last name Cito country. I'm an honest person. When it comes to breaking this stuff down, I really ain't have the focuses of it. So don't mind me. I'm just going off, sheer just slight memory type stuff. But it ain't no diss to these players. It's just my interest of it is this guy's from Lithuania. Kasparas Jukonius. So, they only had one draft pick. They got on their roster, they got Tyler Hero, Jamie Jarquez, Terry Rozier, Nikola Jovic. Andrew Wiggins was the one that they got. You know, he came over. Bama, I think that's, if I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that's the Andrew Wiggins that everybody. I think it's two Andrew Wiggins in the NBA. Bama Bio is still there. I think, you know, they make the playoffs. They have a solid coach. Their coach is one of the top coaches as far as X's and O's and preparation. You know, just knowing what's good to expect night in and night out. They never, you know, they usually make the playoffs. Pat Riley's still overseeing the whole team. I don't know how day in, day out he is, but he definitely is there for like at least, the final say, a lot of input on the decision making of the rosters. I think they got an okay team overall. You know, they still lacking that superstar. Tyler Hero to me is a star. You know what I'm saying? He got a nice, he's an all-star, he gonna make at least the last 12 people, in the East. Not overall. He make 30 overall to 40 overall, and then when you got fan base like the Miami Heat, he's gonna get voted into as an all-star. There's definitely probably a lot more talented players. Not dissing him, his defensive liability, his length against 6'6", long striding, switching on those small forwards and pick and roll. He has issues. That's why they're not considered the top echelon of the league still, because they lack that presence of, you know, that presence of superstardom. It's stars and then it's superstardom. It's superstars take over a whole half, a whole quarter, a whole game. He does it sometimes. It's people that do it every night. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has mastered taking over the whole games, dropping 7 to 10 of every quarter, and quietly having 7, 6 assists with 8, 9 rebounds, and then going home, getting some rest, going out, hanging with his people, taking care of his family, going home the next day, doing it again. So, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's a different level. You could go drop 40 for 2 games, then you drop 12 points, 10 points, 0 points. That's the stuff that happens all the time with him. So I'm not dissing him. I'm just saying it's a different level of consistency. Now, Bama Bio is a pretty strong defender, switches on all 3 through 5. He's not really a 3-point shooter, but he got a mid-range. He can finish at the rim. I like him as a player. He's another star, a star to starter type, all-star. You know what I'm saying? That fan base will make sure they get in, they get playoffs. They're on the East, so the bottom of the East is never hard to get in, or at least fight for that last position to get in. So, everybody's in the running. That's pretty much it. I'm not gonna do the Washington. They're not a very well organized, well organized. I'll do them tomorrow or another day. I'll probably do it tomorrow. But yeah, that's it for the Florida teams. I it's respect. So I ain't my teams is. I told y'all why my team not a Florida team, but I respect both of these teams. And yeah, y'all got a WNBA. Make sure y'all go vote. As a matter of fact, the voting for WNBA All-Star game is already done. The starters were announced. I don't know if you're still allowed to vote. More people come in. They definitely announced the starters. I do not know how Caitlin Clark, I think that's her name, got to be captain, but it was definitely Aaliyah Boston was the leader of that team to me. I don't like the disrespect they be doing with that. So you know how that goes. They need somebody to be propped up there. Then they got Paige Buckner in the starting lineup. You got way more of the superstars that's sitting on the bench. I'm like, when I say superstar, I mean like experience, still balling. So I look at it. Hey, whatever the fans voted, it is what it is. They got it like that. That's how I think she got hurt. So I think she might get replaced. But hopefully she does make her start. I don't want. I'm just leaving that what it is, because that hexing and jinxing, that switching, that junk weird when it comes to these high level these professional leagues. So that's what it looked like in that situation, because somebody probably deserved that position of starter. And not saying she's not an all-star, but that team still only got 4 wins. And so I don't know. Yeah, WNBA, check it out. I just, make sure my baseball, the Rays lost yesterday, but we still 1.5 from the AL East being the top. Yankees lost too, so that's all I'm gonna mention on that. That's it for today. I appreciate y'all tuning in, listening, and watching. I am your host, Ira Bush. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show, and I will see y'all tomorrow.